Good evening. Top of the hour here. This is Dick, WB2JP Gillen. I'll be one of the hosts tonight of the East Coast Reflector Tech Deck. Number 643 on October 14th. Beautiful fall day and evening here in Western New York. I, along with Roger tonight, KO4QMM, and Vicky, KAZKY, will be running the show here, if you will. As always, and I repeat this every week, and every week I think I don't need to, but every week we get new users, so I want to be sure that everybody knows our basic format. We check with our team members and see if anybody from our team has anything to report. Some silent keys popped up from our database. Vicky's putting them in the log sheet as we speak. Then we go to new users to this step, get them up at the top of the list. Then we go to stations with amateur radio related questions. Hopefully we'll have some good amateur radio related questions tonight. And we kind of changed the format a few weeks ago. And I guess tonight we're probably going to ask the question of not really how you like it, but the question would be, are there any features that you would like incorporated to a TechNet update? We redid the TechNet input from our listening audience. What features would you like to see changed, added, deleted, whatever? So that's kind of our question tonight. You guys got to help us out for one. Try to do what you like and make everything better all the way around. Then after stations with questions, Roger's going to take 10 radio check-ins, 10 off-gear check-ins. I'm going to come back and take 10 text check-ins, and we'll alternate back and forth. Somewhere in there, we're going to have a listing for in and out. I know we deleted in and out previous on all of our nets, one way or another, and we're going to bring them back on all of our nets. That was the number one question that came out of our town hall meeting for many weeks. What happened to the in and out? So we're going to bring them back tonight on here, back on the brews in the morning, and so forth, and all of our nets. Even Alex's trivia net, I called in as an in and out. It's way past my bedtime. He's lucky I stayed up till 11 o'clock, so we're going to do in and outs on Alex's net as well. Let me see if any team members have anything that they would like to report tonight. Any team members have a report for the group tonight? Hearing nothing. Another thing that came up this past week in our town hall meeting, and I don't know why this hasn't happened, but the group thought that we should advertise and bring people into our Zoom room during the net and after the net for chit-chat. Of course, it's almost 11 o'clock time we get out of here, so it's a little late at night, but there are quite a group that do come in after this net, but we're going to start inviting people to our net via the Zoom room. You got to come in, be quiet, but that was something that came up in a town hall meeting, so I want to make it clear that anybody can come in here, that be another part of it. That way, it's great to look over and see somebody talking on the radio, in the Zoom room. So you're all welcome to come in. You always have been, but maybe it just needs to be a little bit talked about. We're doing it on the youth net. Youth are coming in early, and everybody's getting a little more comfortable with each other. This is a great family-friendly atmosphere. Moving along on notes, tomorrow night is open mic night. Don't know who Mark's got lined up, but you never know. So come in at 8 o'clock and join us on open mic night tomorrow night. Thursday night is back to the third Thursday. Ask an Elmer, be an Elmer. It's a great platform for asking questions, getting to know fellow hams. So 8 o'clock in the East Coast Reflector Zoom room. We have recently added a Discord server. Those of you people that have Discord, or if you don't, just download it. And I believe you just go into Discord and put W2ECR in, and it will pop up. That's what I have been told. Joe, KO4FRR, is looking for a front-end and back-end developer. Joe needs help. So if you are a front-end or back-end developer and would like to help us, please let one of us know. Joe in particular, KO4FRR. And Vicky's got a whole list of wanted in this month's magazine. We need help on a lot of little things. So please read that over, and if you can help us, come let us know, and we'll give you a job. Pay's not very good, but you have a lot of fun doing it. Yes, lastly tonight, a few months back, we opened up a hotline at 716-427-4142. 716-427-4142. It's kind of a quick way to report problems. That goes to three of our phones. It goes to my phone, Vicky's phone, and Joe's phone. Chances are, if you call in, one of us will pick it up. You can leave a message. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. And you can text in also on that number. There's a lot of people who call in and say, the Hollywood repeater's down. What do you know about it? It's down, which it is down. It probably will be down for another week or so. People in South Florida. It's an internet problem or something like that down there. It's not a repeater problem. Our maintenance people, if you will, are out of town, so it will be probably at least another week. So we just like to more and more people to start using that. Texting is great. If you want to know if something's down real quick in the morning, so much quicker than texting or sending an email and back and forth and so forth. I see people are coming into the Zoom room, so come join us. EastCoastReflector.com. If you're not familiar, there's a button there to click to take you into the Zoom. Mouthful, huh, Vicky? Well, alrighty. Silent keys. We have 4 silent keys, unfortunately, that came up from our database. A4AVX, WB2RFK, N8AA, N8RPA, from Ohio and Kentucky and North Carolina. Does anyone else? I hope not. 4 is too many. Have a silent key from the East Coast Reflector family that they would like to have remembered here. WX14. WX4CX. Good evening, sir, and who like the silent key be, please? Call sign of the station that just called in, and also the call sign of the silent key that you would like to have remembered, please. This is talked over the top of me, so obviously he isn't hearing. One more time. Does anyone have, other than these 4, a silent key from the East Coast Reflector family that they would like to have remembered here tonight? All right. You could have a moment of silence for John, A4AZX, Kenneth, WB2RFK, John, N8AA, and Brian, N8RPA. See if I have any new users to this net. If you have never checked into this net before, please give us your call sign twice as slowly. Got her typing finger. Once again, this is Dick, WB2JPQ. Kilo, Romeo, 4, Bravo, Golf, Lawrence County. Well, good evening to Lawrence in Cherry, North Carolina. KR4BGL. And to you, Lawrence, welcome to the East Coast Reflector. I've been on the system before, but never in the TechNet, so welcome. If you'd like to answer our question tonight, are there any features? Pretty hard if you haven't been in here before, but the question, I'll repeat it so everybody gets it one more time. Are there any features that you would like incorporated in the TechNet update? You do a TechNet update or anything that you would like to have recorded or incorporated, deleted, or whatever. Good evening, Art. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Well, to that, I say that I'm a had my learning separately. I just recently got the 991A, which is what I'm speaking right now to talk to you guys here to Reflector. And I just finally, after a couple of days of work, finally off that I'm going to be able to do. I have connected to the board, thanks to a audio card to connected it to his computer. So it's a lot of fun on there. And I'm a big fan of digital mode. I very much excited to explore a lot more. So yeah, that's really all I can say right now. Is that my I can't wait to see that. Lawrence, it's great to have you. Constructive criticism. Your audio is low. It does need to come up. So you can go to whatever you're on. Wire it up. I'm sure they have an echo reflector there. Go there and see what it is and bring it up. You're readable, but you have to really crank the audio up to hear you. We've been really trying to get everybody to sound good here the last few months on the East Coast Reflector, and it has really paid off. The audio in general has improved. All of this, everybody has helped everybody, directing people to our website, eastcoastreflector.com, to the listen live, where you can actually watch your audio as well as hear it. What else do I have? New stations that have never checked into this net before. Please give me your call sign, please. This is Kilo Romeo 4, Foxtrot Kilo Zulu, Kilo 4, Foxtrot Kilo Zulu. Joshua from Harvest, Alabama. Another KR4 call. Probably another very young KR4FKZ. Good evening, Josh. Good evening. Glad to be here. I'm going to answer our question because you've never been on the East Coast Reflector before, so it's kind of unfair to ask you a question. Ask you our question tonight. But good evening, Josh. And got anything to say for the group tonight or to the group tonight? I just got my technical and then general license over the summer, and started out with an ICOM 7100s, and I'm trying to figure out. Spent last weekend cutting off the limbs of a sweet gum tree in my backyard, trying to get a inverted dipole directed, and so I've been really trying to figure stuff out. It's been a real challenge. Fun. Over. There you go. You're having fun. That's a good thing, Josh. So, well, thank you for being there. I know it's Joshua. You go by Josh or something else. First time check-in, we can change it in our database.
is anything with a J, just make eye contact, but obviously that doesn't apply here. But yeah, Josh or Joshua is fine. All good. Thank you.
My point earlier, it really does come into the East Coast Reflector Zoom room and to make eye contact with us. There's several in there. We invite everybody that would like to just come in. Unfortunately, you can't talk during the net, but we can at least look at you and watch you and have a little better interaction with you. That was something that has been brought or was brought up in our town hall meeting, and people want to see it. So I advertised it to people that wanted to see it at least come in. So thanks for being here. Who else do I have that is new to this TechNet? Yeah, the two. Welcome to Lawrence and Josh. Stick with us, and we'll be going here for the next couple of hours, I hope, with good questions and answers, of course. Let's take stations with an amateur radio related question. If you have a question tonight, please give us your call sign. We'll do our best to answer it. I don't know if our field of experts are here tonight. I haven't had a chance to find that out, but we'll see. So stations with an amateur radio question. Call sign twice. Once again, this is Dick at 16 past the hour, WB2JP. Go.
Alpha Delta 2 India Z. Alpha Delta 2 India Z.
Bob from East Amherst, New York, going to start us out tonight. Hi, Bob. Haven't talked to you for a week or so. Good evening.
Good evening, Dick and Vicki, and I think who else is on tonight with the team. Thank you for everything you do there. My question goes back to when we talked last week. I'm using Transceive on my Mac, and I'm not going back to the issues that we had because I think I know and understand that. But I cannot get Transceive to connect directly to any of the East Coast Reflector hubs. I can connect to many other hubs, but I have to actually connect one of my nodes before I can get to and have it connect to the East Coast Reflector hub. Is that because you have public access turned off, and if so, I kind of understand that, but I'd just like to know if that's supposed to be the case.
Did it right, nail right on the head, Bob. They're blocked in our data center for security reasons. But we do have a way for you to get in. I thought I mentioned that to you. Maybe I didn't. Connect us 598529. 598529, and you will be all set.
Okay, can you repeat that one more time, please?
Sure, Bob. 598529. 598529.
Got it. I really appreciate that, and I'll take it from there after the net. Right? Try that out. That was my question, and I'll wait in line to answer the other question. Have a great evening.
As long as you called in, we just don't take your question now. If you do answer a question or have a question and we hear from you, that's considered a text. There's no sense in checking back in to answer the question. So if you have a question, are there any features that you would like incorporated into a TechNet update? Bob, good evening again.
82IZ again. I would like to see, if at all possible, on things like the TechNet, TriviaNet doesn't make any sense to me, but on the TechNet, at least for the tech answers, questions and answers, that those could be recorded and published for reference. So I don't know if that's possible or if you have the resources to do that, but I think it could be useful. 82IZ, back over to you, Dick.
Well, I guess it's 12 and a half years. I guess that's the first time that ever came up. But I have to say, we don't have the resources to do it. However, we have recently added on Facebook uh, a recording. Well, it's actually a YouTube video of the net. We have a gentleman that is recording them, all of our nets, all of our nets, trivia net, everything, and they're posted probably usually within an hour or two of the net. So you can always go back and listen to them. But I know that's not what you want to hear. But I at this time I just don't think we have the resources to do that, Bob.
Well, if he's recording them, that works because you can play back YouTube it, sped up. So that I think that would solve my need for it. So I'll check into that. I didn't realize that was there. So I'll turn the net back over to you for the questions and 82IZ.
That was only added a week or so ago, Bob. So and then I guess we haven't even mentioned it. That is a great resource, a very great resource. That is also, radio reference or broadcastify, if you will. Everything is recorded there. If you have an account, you can go back in and play the archive. I believe you need an account in order to go back to the archive. But if there ever is anything that you really need, we also archive everything. So we can always help you out. But yep, I think YouTube on Facebook will answer the question. Thanks, Bob. Thanks for being here tonight. Well, what else do we have? Stations with an amateur radio related question.
For India Tango Alpha, K for ITA for Roger.
For ITA, Leo. Hello, Leo. What can we do for you tonight, my friend?
Good evening, everybody. Okay, quick question about antenna. In my shack, I have a small space for antennas, talking about HF, and it's from 6 meters down to 30 meters. I use a old but good MFJ magnetic loop. Very happy with it. I choose short bandwidth, small bandwidth, but works very, very well. 40 meters is a different thing. So I'm now experimenting with a double bazooka, and I would like to set it up as an inverted link. So my question is, if anybody has experience with double bazooka or any, dipole or anything as an inverted link, and my question is, how high can I go? Of course, the higher the better, I know that, but if somebody has experience on what, like 30 feet, 20 feet, 40 feet, and I can go high. I cannot go, I can go vertical, but not horizontal. So that's what I like to do. Okay, K4GA, back to my control.
Okay, that's him. Hey, Carol. Welcome aboard. Go right ahead. Thank you, Dick. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, Leo, you're absolutely right. Higher is better. But the bazookas, one of the issues with those is that you can get some pretty hefty voltages are on the end of that antenna. So the idea is to get that up high enough to where the neighborhood kids, the dogs, so on and so forth, are not going to be able to contact that wire, or if you're out mowing the grass, you probably don't want that running over the top of your head either. But get that at least like 10 or 12 feet off the ground on the end, and you're going to be fine with that. But one thing to keep in mind with dipoles or bazookas or what have you, uh, as you change that angle at the top of the inverted V, it does change the bandwidth and the match. So just be aware of that. A decent tuner, it will handle that with no problem. But just be aware that depending upon the angle that you put it at, you may have a fairly high FWR on the V. So keep that in mind as you do it. But otherwise, again, as you said, higher is better. But try and keep the ends up high enough to where people aren't going to be able to get a hold of that wire if you happen to be transmitting. Back over to you. Take KC6 FM. Thank you, Charles. Leo, was that a call to you?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you very much. It was very, very, very good. And yeah, I knew that, and so I will try to keep it high as possible. And yeah, it's a single band. It's a single band 40 meters. So let's see what happens. But thank you for the question. It was very useful for me. And to reply, to answer the question tonight, it's not easy because you're doing so many things, good things. So it's not easy to think about something. But maybe I don't know, maybe something like the test line, or maybe Discord where you can maybe post and write the question that can be maybe taught and then answered during the net. That's the only thing I can think, because everything else is you are doing just fine. Thank you very much. K4ITA, back to the control.
Good questions. Ironically enough, we had a little brainstorming session in the Zoom room this afternoon during our afternoon coffee, and that was one of the things that came up. And it might come up throughout the evening. There's everything but on the website, and that could be added on the website. Text in your TechNet question. Certainly something that we could consider. And this is the type of feedback that we're looking for. I got one for you though, Leo. January and February are very cold up in Buffalo. Do you think there's any chance that you might need help putting that antenna up in one of those 2 months? Maybe we could arrange a couple weeks down there.
Well, I'm not kidding. We are working with, I live in Fort Lauderdale and work in Fort Lauderdale, and especially with the city of Wilton Manor, which is a very small city within Fort Lauderdale. And I'm talking to the city to maybe open a place for a radio shack, a radio station with some antenna, and open it to the public. The city of Wilton Manor is very sensible to this. Why not? January, February is the perfect weather to do that. Back to net.
Thanks, Leo. And I come with friends. Thanks for being a good sport about it. Joe just texted me, and we do have a shortcut for Discord. It's the ecr.radio/Discord. ecr.radio/Discord. Thanks, Joe, for setting that up for me. What else do I have? Stations with an amateur radio related question.
For Golf 1, November Yankee Sierra for key 1 NYF.
Where have you been, my friend? We've asked about you, man. I don't even know what time it is in the Philippines, but welcome, KG1NYS. Your question to us tonight, Philip. Go ahead, and then we'll have you answer our question.
AWB2JPQ, this is 4 November Yankee Sierra. My name is Steven from here in the Philippines. It's 8:30 in the morning here. We've been quite busy since the last week of September because of I I went on vacation going to Japan with the family. Then the first week of October we have been busy running emergency operations because of the series of earthquakes in the Visayas and Mindanao area, which are quite strong. Anyway, my question for the group is, uh, what is the frequency of the East Coast Reflector on meters? Because as you may be bigger familiar with this, the jamboree on the air of the Boy Scouts. Globally, all the scouting communities across the world will be doing this coming Saturday. What is the frequency on of the East Coast Reflector on 40 meters? Yeah, if you guys have it.
Yes, they're 40-meter net on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock East Coast time. It's 7.245 plus or minus. We've been pretty lucky. We follow the Navy net, so they pretty much got a hole blown through the atmosphere. They've been on for a couple hours, and then they turn it over to us. So you can hear the Navy net. It's that frequency, 7.245. 7.245.
Okay, copy that. WB2KBQ, that is 7.245 on 40 meters. Hopefully, the Boy Scouts here would try to do some contact for the jamboree on the air, especially the global scouting community will be quite active on those and this coming weekend. That and 19. Okay, my answer to the technical question, maybe one feature that you may add is maybe a section for DF stations or overseas stations to come in, aside from the domestic check-ins that pop up from the states. So that it would also accommodate for global people, more global people to come on and balance out as well with all of the domestic stations that are over there in the States. 17 WB2JPQ and the whole East Coast Reflector team, 41NYS, sending it back to all of you down there.
Thanks for your comment, Stephen. We actually had that for quite a number of years. Oh, God. Many years. We used to have a separate heading in the call districts, if you will. We did the 9 call districts, and then we had DX. We actually had Canadian friends in there as well. And we did away with it because everybody's got a numeric. In case you happen to have 2 numerics, so you have a choice. But actually, your numeric is a 1. So you would come in with the first call district when we were doing call districts. But we no longer do call districts. We're doing 10 text, 10 radio, 10 text, and 10 radio. But certainly, thank you. We'll put that back on our list. Yeah, we got worried about it, Stephen. We really did. That was the last we heard you when things were cracking and baking, rattling, and rolling down there. I think Vicky said you were in once or something. Maybe she sent you an email to see, but I'm glad everything is going okay. All right, that's it with Stephen in the Philippines. Who else has got a question? Amateur radio related question, 34 past the hour. This is Dick, WB2JPQ. Three, Tango Charlie Sierra Mobile, DE3 TCS. Oh, that's our friend Tim from Windsor, Ontario, DE3 TCS. Good evening, Tim. Good evening, Dick. First off, I'd like to address the question that you put to the group. I have no suggestions for improvement of the net. I just like you people to keep your vitamins up because you do a lot of work for us that we all enjoy. Thanks, Tim. Yeah. I'll share a quick story with you. My son called last night. What was last night? I don't know, meeting or something. Oh yeah, we had every Monday night. The team meets every single Monday night. You're there, and the fourth Monday is our big meeting. But my son called. Dad, I know you got a meeting tonight. What's the good night that you don't have something going on the East Coast Reflector? I said the fifth Thursday of the month, or the fourth Thursday of the month. Believe it or not, is the only night in the entire month that we have to think about. There's something going on other than Saturday and Sunday, but there isn't that. Alex is not at 11, but that's the only time during the week that we actually have a night off. But anyway, Tim, your question. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you guys do a lot of work. I do a little bit of NCS on local nets, a DMR net, and a 1.25 meter net, and it's a handful. You guys are really professional. I appreciate it. Take the time. All right, you. Am I understanding you right? You did not have a question for us tonight. Yeah, I gave the question. My question is about common mode current. I'm not sure if I have a common mode current problem, so I'd like to know how to measure to see if I actually have common mode current and what it is. Over. Tim, I did not hear that. I'm wondering if anybody did you guys hear that question before? No. We seem to have an issue going on with the repeater there in Detroit, the M repeater. Sometimes it's repeating locally on the repeater, but it's not coming down line. So it's not all me. You had to be on the Detroit repeater to hear that. So we got it down, and I'll send it over to Charles.
Thank you, Dick. Yeah, common mode current. The true telltale, Tim, is if any time you touch anything in the shack, if it shocks you, yeah, you've got common mode issue. But you can use an RF voltmeter and measure for it. Depending on if what kind of oscilloscope you have, you can meter it that way as well. Just be very careful that you don't fry your scope. But the biggest thing is if you've got a hum or some sort of noise like that is not a 60 cycle, the odds are that it's coming from a common mode current. It would be on either transmit, receive, or on both quite often. But the only way to measure it was going to be some sort of an RF device in there. The other solution is solution without detection of the problem is to just put a choke before your coax comes into your shack, whether that be an actual store-bought common mode choke, or if you just want to make an ugly choke, rapid turns of coax around a 4 to 6 inch form and call it good there, or maybe get some ferrite clip-on type devices and clip-on. That doesn't care if the common mode current is actually there or not. If it is, it'll soak it out. If it's not going to hurt anything. But sometimes just implementing a solution is easier and cheaper than trying to see if you actually have the problem. That would be my advice to you: is to, if you want to go on the cheap, just take 5 or 6 turns with your coax around a 4 to a 6 inch form, tape them together, zip tie them together, what have you, to keep them from falling apart. And that'll take care of the problem if you do have it. Back over to you, Dick, Casey, Fiction FM.
Thank you, Charles. And Jim, did that answer your question? I didn't want to bother doing the work of making a form or doing any of that or buying something if I don't really need it. I've never gotten a shock, but I've got sometimes the noise level is pretty high, so I don't know if it's the high voltage line at the back of my lot, which is only 40 feet, 45 feet from my shack, so I don't know. Anyhow, I'll keep trying to find out and figure it out. Thanks a lot, Nick. Yeah, I think you would know if you had common low current problems, like Charles said. Probably hear it. People will tell you that you got something going on in your transmission as well. You should stick your finger in the light socket thing, I guess. Thanks, Tim. See you in the morning on the brew. Who else we got? Patients with amateur radio related questions. Check it in. So, what? Yeah, Jake Station and Echolink. Good evening. I'm only patients that have amateur radio related questions. What do we have? Patients with a question.
K7 FPS, K7 FPS, quickie.
Fred from Reno. Good evening.
I've been trying to think how to answer your question. The town halls are really useful. A 12-volt ammeter. I have 100 amp hour batteries, and I haven't looked it up on Amazon, but for connecting a radio directly to a 12-volt battery, I gather they just make a couple little headstocks there that you clip the. Do I need 2 of them or 1 of them? Again, I haven't researched it, just looking for suggestions. K7SPS, back to net.
Are you looking to hook an ammeter up on your 12 volts? Is that what you're saying? An ammeter on 12 volts?
Yeah, I have the kilowatt for the 120 side, but yeah, I want to plug an ammeter in line, probably to the battery from directly. Does that explain it?
Sure does. Well, first of all, as we all know, an ammeter has to go in series. So you gotta put that ammeter in series. Then comes the question, how much current are you going to draw? You have to make sure that you're not exceeding the current limitations of that ammeter, and you can't run a lot of current through many ammeters, especially what you buy on Amazon. But some of them have a built-in shunt. If they don't, you have to buy a shunt for higher current stuff. I don't know if that's any help to you. We can put it out to the group and see if somebody else got some suggestions. But I haven't fooled out with some of these little digital things. I know they They have an extra lead on them that senses the current. I'm not really familiar with them. I guess I was kind of old school. We used to, back in the day, I used to have ammeters on all of my power supply, or I mean, on all of my power amps, and I always and I still do, tune a power amp up for minimum current, max smoke out. They seem to run efficient there, but I don't know if that was any help to you.
Well, I'm thinking for like Coda stuff, or either a 50-watt radio or the A2 100-watt radio. You know, if I want to reach out somewhere, just curious. KC6 USM.
Joe?
Thank you, Dick. Yeah, Fred, I don't know if I'm ever going to get used to the new call sign, but yeah, the little DC meters that I have seen on Amazon and eBay that have an internal shunt, they are limited to about 10 amp. I think I recall seeing one that would go to 50, which for a 100-watt radio, that is not going to do the trick for you. But everything else is going to require an external shunt. And basically, the shunt goes in series with the power supply line, and then the meter attaches two leads, one on each end of the shunt, and it actually measures the voltage drop across the shunt, and then translates that into a current reading internally. But again, I'm trying to remember. I have seen those meters with a 50 amp shunt, and I have also seen them with a 100 amp shunt. And I'm sure that there are others, but those are the ones that are standing out in mind. For the 100 watt radio, the 50 amp is going to be just fine for you. But the ones with the internal shunt, even that go up to 15 or 20 amp internal, that's just not going to do the trick for you. You're going to need something with an external shunt. So kind of look around and see what you can find. That when you have the external shunt, the wiring is different. With an internal shunt, you just run the power line through the meter and you're good to go. But with an external shunt, you have to wire the shunt in series with the supply and the load, and then the meter goes across the shunt. So, it's not that much more complicated. It's just something that you have to be aware of. So back over to you, Dick, KC6USF. Or FXC comment.
Go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Finally back in here after a hiatus of traveling. Just mention, don't know what kind of battery you're using, and if it's just a standard like gel cell lead acid battery, or if it's one of the newer lithium iron phosphate batteries. If it's one of the new lithium iron phosphate or similar chemistry batteries, you probably have a battery management unit already built into the battery pack, and it will give you a reasonably good indication of current draw and battery life. I've got several 105 and some bigger 12-volt batteries that are lithium iron phosphate, and you don't need anything external. Just literally, in fact, the battery management unit is connected via Bluetooth, so you can literally monitor it from an application on your phone real time. That's one of the possibilities. But it was mentioned that you buy the little shunt-based meters all over eBay and Amazon. They're very inexpensive, and they're very very good in that regard. Just remember they draw a little bit of power, so if you leave them powered all the time, they will run your battery down. Okay, for FXC.
What will those go up to? I've never really played with them. I played with the voltmeters, the panel voltmeters, but I never got into the ammeter portion. I know there's just a little pinky lead that comes off. I'm sure there's different currents, but what will they run up to? Do you know offhand current wise?
Oh, I've got some small stunt off of eBay or stunt-based meters that are, I think, good for like 300 or 400 amps. I work for like $15 a piece, maybe 10 to $15. Now this was I haven't bought one post-COVID, so they probably they may have gone up by 50% in price or whatnot. But yeah, so they're usually like 3 leads. A lot of times we'll put the shunt in the negative lead of the battery, and one side is the negative, it goes to the negative of the battery. One side goes to then you have the shunt, and then one of the leads goes to the other side of the shunt, and a third lead goes to the positive lead of the battery to supply power for the meter unit.
Yeah, I didn't know. I had no idea the current on them. I guess I need to look into that. There's other little things, the voltmeters, digital voltmeters, of course, that's up in parallel, and I never got into the ammeter side of it. So great, thank you. Stations. Oh, Fred, did that answer your question before we go?
Yes, it did. It opened up a new avenue to research. But yeah, I guess I'll look at stunt-based ammeters on eBay. Thank you, David, Charles, and Dick. Back to net. K7FPS clear.
Thanks for your question. 51 past the hour. This is Dick. We'll get B2JPQ stations with amateur radio related questions. Come on, guys and gals. We've been on a roll here for the last 52 minutes.
Zero BBS. 80 BBS.
Sounds like Steve from Lincoln, Nebraska, KC0PBF. Good evening, Steve.
Zero BBS. Not much going on here, Nick. Don't clear all the questions. I just let you guys know that your DMR bridges are down, your original and the new one. So I let you know. Not much going on here. Not much really fun. I will see you guys on the Zoom room tomorrow. Back to that. 0 BBS.
Look into that. Our dashboard says they're up and alive and well, but we'll look into that. Haven't had any reports. Great stations with an amateur radio related question.
I said.
Besides that, you kind of gave it once and you dropped off the KC station again, please.
AD2, I said. I just wanted to confirm that I was just going to tell you the same thing. Both Brandmasters DMR are down. The TGIF is working.
Looking into that. Thanks, Bob. Our dashboard's lying. Our dashboard is lying. We show everything up. So we'll look at it. Goes on it right now. Maybe we'll get a result there in the next couple of minutes. Thanks, guys, both of you for letting us know. Patients with an amateur radio related question.
Little Romeo 4 Foxtrot Kilo Zulu.
Gosh, so Harvest, Alabama came back here for FK set. Hello again, Josh.
My question is, how much antenna is too much antenna for a handheld?
Too much antenna for a handheld. My opinion is those ungodly things that fold over that they sell, but I guess what are you trying to achieve? For obviously you're looking for gain. That what you're looking for.
I had been connecting my handheld to an Diamond X-Ray 50 Alpha dual band antenna for HFV UHF or VHF UHF, and just wondering if that was overkill or just stick to the rubber duck or what people should do with handhelds.
You're obviously going to get. Well, you know the results that are getting when you use your outside antenna versus the rubber duck. Rubber ducks are so limited, Josh, as you well know. With anything you can do to get the RF outside, whether it be a car, house, that's pretty common practice. I mean, full power is not going to. Sometimes the spectrum might be a little bit dirty, but I don't think you're going to bother anything. Something we've done since HDs came out is plug an antenna into an external antenna. So, it's perfectly fine to do that.
Well, that answers my question. Thank you.
One of the biggest things, and we've talked about this before, it's kind of old school stuff. A little thing called the tiger tail, or on VHF. Doesn't do much on UHF, but on VHF, it really makes a difference. If you're trying to work a repeater on VHF, that's a ways away. And what that is nothing but a 19-inch piece of wire connected to some metal on your HT. Whether it be a screw on the back, as long as that screw is actually radio ground, it does make quite a difference. We've used to play with that years and years back. A lot of different names for it. The tiger tail is one of them, but a 19-inch piece of wire hanging from your PC that basically gives you the other half of the antenna. You got 19 inches up, you need 19 inches down. Thanks, Jack. Thanks for the question. Well, we've got a question here tonight for us. Team is all here, and this is the night to do it. David's here. Anybody got all-star questions? The night to field some good questions. Anybody anywhere for amateur radio related questions?
WB3 EGD, WB3 EGD.
Well, good evening, Richard. WB3. How are you tonight, sir?
Thanks for asking, Dick. I'm well. I hope you are as well as everyone on the net. I'm going to answer your question first. I can't think of a thing. I'm sure there are many things, but I can't think of any improvements off the top of my head. If any come to mind, I'll check in again. Although I've enjoyed the suggestions up to now. My question involves a very good friend of mine whose late son was a tech. He gave me his Kenwood HT. It was very kind of him. It's a Kenwood TH78A. Now, the last Kenwood HT I had, actually I never had one. I was thinking of my ICOM IC218. My question involves the battery. Actually, I have two questions. The first question involves the battery.
what he said, it came without a battery. He said he has no idea where the battery went. So it looked like an empty shell on the bottom of this Kenwood. And when I look on Amazon for replacement batteries for the TH78A, the pictures that they're showing me like look larger than this empty shell. I can't see how they would clip in unless it's an illusion. I've never seen an HT that has like an empty shell case to put the battery in. Does someone have any familiarity with this rig? And my other question might be Charles' question. I want to know if I could use it for satellite, maybe with the antenna he has in the latest newsletter. Back to you, Dick, WB3EG.
Let's take the first question first. Some of those Kenwood, and I think I probably had a 78, had a spot for AA batteries. Are you sure that it's I guess I'm not quite sure. Do you have the bottom of it and there's nothing in it? If that's the case, are you sure that AA batteries don't go into it?
Well, I'm pretty sure that AA batteries do go into a AA battery container, which I have already ordered and hasn't arrived yet from China. And I'm sure that will slip in. But I know also it must also take a regular battery pack. And it's the regular battery pack that I'd like to track down because instead of replacing AA's all the time, charging AA's, I'd like to just have a battery, an actual battery stuck in there that I can recharge directly to the unit. So both are options. I just don't understand the dimensions. It just looks weird to me. Back to you.
I just Googled the TH78A battery pack, 700 milliamp hour battery, $31.60 on. I don't know what it is, but they obviously still make them. And it's a clip-on the bottom. But for the empty shell, I don't understand what you've got for an empty shell. Can anybody help us out?
Or thank you.
It's your OCKV comment.
David and one other station. I didn't get the other station. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, K4XD. I don't have the 78A, but I've got another older one. I think 74. Anyway, they had a AA battery pack that was available that was a shell like that, which you could. I want to say it held 6 AA cells. It may have been here. I think it was 6. But the main thing with those HTs is they had different capacity battery packs, and you could buy a pack that was longer and bigger that had higher capacity. It was all NiCad back in that day. And one thing, if you're getting a replacement battery pack, you probably can get lithium ion packs these days as well. So make sure you get a chemistry that's compatible with your charger, or get a new charger as well. If you can get a lithium pack, I'd certainly go that way. But the packs are readily available for all those radios, so you should be able to find one no problem. But I believe it probably takes AA's, K4XD.
David, is kind of what I was thinking. I think it was Mark, N0CKV. Mark, your comment, please.
Yeah, I have a TH78A, and most of the battery packs did extend beyond the bottom of what she's calling the shell.
Thank you, Mark. I got it up on Google, and that's certainly what it looks like. Well, Richard, hope that was some help to you.
Yes, thank you, Mark, and thank you, David, and thank you, Dick. I appreciate your assistance. And if anybody could give me an idea if this is one of those radios that will make it easy, dual band radio, making it easy to operate a flight or contact the space station, or if I should get something newer if I want to do that. And that's my last follow-up. Back to you, Dick, WB3ECB.
I guess I don't know enough about this. I already closed out. I don't know enough about the 78H. But you want a radio that hits you both windows in if you can, like the cheaper bolt bangs, where you got UHF and VHF, so you can hear the up and the up down line at the same time. So you can switch back and forth. But let's put it out to the group, and again, I have to look for 78. 78 is. Anybody help Richard up?
Okay, fix you then.
Like take that Mexican station off. That's got a curtain.
Alrighty, thanks, Dick. Yeah, Richard, it will work. If and I'm not familiar with it enough to know if it has both, the ability to work both bands simultaneously, shall we say, and have two separate displays. Without that, it's going to be very, very difficult to use. You can pick up today. You can pick up a $20 bow bang that will do the trick for you. But keep in mind with a single radio, unless you have a duplexer and the radio will across and repeat, which I heard 78A is not. You're going to be working simplex with that, and which is not a problem. But you may have trouble making a contact, particularly with the IFS. But it will work. May not be absolutely optimal, but it will do the job for you. Back over to you, Dick. I think you got New Mexico off there, KC6 USM.
K4XC comment.
David?
As I mentioned, I don't have it pulled up in front of me, but I believe the 78A will do crossband repeats. I believe it will do receive on one band, transmitting on the other. It was one of the really fancy HTs in its era, so I'm pretty sure it will. I'll look it up real quick, but I'm pretty sure it will. So you have to remember you have the limitations of power and everything else, but with something like one of the Yagis, the UHF VHF, I think it'd make an ideal HT. If we're trying to contact the space station, assuming it's working well. But yeah, I believe it is a very fancy HT, as I recall. 30 plus years old, K4XC.
Who knows that is? All right, thanks, David. And with Richard's question. Thank you too, Mark, for your comments, and Charles. All right, 9 past the hour, second hour. Dick WB2JPQ stations with questions. KJ5LZR. KJ5LZR.
K4XC comment.
David and Chris, we got you there, San Angelo, Texas, KJ5LZR. Hi, David.
As I mentioned, I just got it, the TH78A pulled up here on RigTech, and yes, it does. It is a fancy little old radio. It does crossband repeat. twin receive, UHF, VHF, either combination. So it's and obviously being crossband repeatable transmit on one band while listening on the other. So it is one of the radios from yesteryear, which would be ideal for for duplex use like that, crossband duplex. It looks like, at least, assuming it's working well. K4FXC.
What a goodie. I think I might have had one of those back in the day. I need to remember great transmit audio with it. I about it, but a lot of those older radios really sound good. Thanks for bringing up the memories, Richard. Let's go to Chris. KJ5LZR. What can we do for you tonight, Chris?
Good evening, guys. Well, to answer your question, I don't quite remember what I think was improvements on the net. I can't think of any at the moment. But my question is, I use an All-Star net node, and listening to the net tonight, I've heard everybody nice and clear except for David, who was just on. I can hear him up. I hear about 3 words and then silent, and well, I see that he's keyed up. And then once his transmission is almost done, he comes back to you. Is there any way I can figure out how or what is happening with that? It seems like maybe I've noticed it with Echolink, but still not sure why that's happening to my ultimate code. And I'll listen back. KJ5LZR.
I'll make that to David. David's been trying to. I don't know, David, you got any ideas?
Well, no, not right off. Of course, I just this node has been off the air here for a while, and I just powered it back up earlier this afternoon, and I haven't confirmed that it's working okay. Does everybody else hear me okay? If so, then I don't know what could be going on with it. I haven't, like I say, I haven't checked it in a while, other than I just plugged it in and linked in, and but that doesn't mean something's been broken. K4FXC.
Just ask real quick. Did anyone hear David's previous transmission break up, or can anyone hear the similar problem that Chris just mentioned?
Sounded real good. KA5GSS. And the whole transmission very good. TDT.
All right, Chris. I don't know what to tell you. 400 plus All-Star connections here tonight, so yeah. I would have to think it's on your end for some reason or not.
Roger that. Like I said, I heard everybody coming clear. When David first comes in, it's crystal clear, perfect audio, and then silence. I didn't hear anything he said except for a few words in between, but it was nice and clear. So I guess I still got to try and figure it out on it. Well, I appreciate the help, guys. Back to next, KJ5LZR.
All right. I don't know of a problem on All-Star, but we used to have not a lot, but we used to have problems on IRLP. Without going, with the PL tone, if somebody had a heavy presence PL tone being passed, canceling out, I think with Albany we had a problem with it one time. We actually had to put some filters in some of the nodes, some of the transmitters. I guess that was on the receivers. We had to put PL filters on the link radio receivers. I had to do it at my colon site. Matter of fact, it's still in there. Something with 88.5 and whatever Albany was, or whatever it was. But there's others. It could possibly be that, but Sounds like you're the Lone Ranger here, Chris. All right, let's move along. Stations with amateur radio related questions. 15 past the hour. This is Dick, WBQJP.
The three angles out forever. Put your regular three angles out. Notable in and out. No trouble.
Hey, Tim, I'm looking for stations with amateur radio related questions. Should hold off until a little bit later here. I think we're winding down. Roger's going to come in here in a minute and take 10 radio check-ins. I'll leave you. Vicky, leave him on here. We'll leave you right on here, Tim. And slide you down if necessary. But I'm looking for stations that have an amateur radio related question for us tonight. Anybody, anywhere, amateur radio related question? Nothing heard. Last call. Anybody have an amateur radio related question that they would like to have addressed tonight before we go to general check-in?
CLF, AE2CLF.
AE2CLS. Great, beautiful downtown Rockport. Good evening.
Quick question for everybody. I'm going to be putting in a mobile into my F-150, and I was wondering if there are any special connectors to connect directly to the battery, or if we just put a ring terminal around the terminals of the actual battery.
Can put that out to the group. I don't think there's any special battery. Somebody help me out here. I don't know. I'll get directly to the battery the best you can. I don't know, like you say, ring terminals, or there are other places. Usually, sometimes one step away from the battery, there's a big lug. But anybody want to help Clayton out from Rockport? K2 outlet. Good evening.
Kilo Delta 6 Charlie and 0 and 80. Would like Dick.
We got 2.5 in there. Somebody from Orlando was cycling the 444.8. Can't read you at all. I got Ross and 0 MSS. He's in the film room with us tonight. And Ruben, 86 CWI. Ruben, you were first. Go ahead.
Appreciate it, Dick. Okay, so the gentleman that just asked the question, he didn't specify what year the truck was. Is it a permanent install? Does it have a detachable base? I think the terminal, the reason the year of the automobile is important is because modern vehicles have a sort of computer on it, and sometimes you can't directly hook it up directly to the battery. Probably prior to that computer module that you have to hook it up. There's a certain way to do it. That's one precaution. And I think it would be better to keep it simple to put an external battery for that radio. If you put in a separate battery, you don't have to deal with RF noise or stuff like that.
But although you need to do some ferrites on the connection to make sure not no RF is going into the transmission or whatever. Yeah, I would check on the year of the vehicle and how you're going to install it, whether it's a permanent install or a temporary. And that is my advice. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that would give out, but I think that's the most important thing. I'll bring it back to you, Dick, and thank you for doing the net. KD6 TWI. I would say I would go with Fadeless, whatever you can get there onto the battery. They make all kinds of things that you can put on the lead to the battery that bite down in and so forth. It's really up to you. I've used them all, over the years. But if whatever you can get, but certainly if you got go right to the battery with it, and whatever you got will work just fine. Ross, I'm sorry, Ross is in there. N0 method, Ross, go ahead.
But about 10% on to the battery. We use a lot of fuse pigtails or fuse edit circuits and go right into the fuse box. And most people want their radios hooked to the battery if they're not. And if Electronics has fuse pigtails, it's a fuse with a extra wire soldered into them. You unplug the normal fuse, it's in there. You plug in your new fuse. You go to the source side of that circuit, not the load side, so you don't load down the existing circuit. And the F-150 has a key fuse down in the passenger side panel, like the second fuse up from the bottom on the close side when you're looking towards it, the door side. And you can get a key circuit there if you want to get it that way. But otherwise, yes, go right to the battery. Or my pickup has a jumper from the battery to the fuse box under the hood. I would rather go across that 1-foot jumper to the stainless steel terminal in the fuse box rather than right to the battery, because the one on the battery will get the throws. And you're on it then.
Well, you're talking about lower currents that draw radios. Back in my day, everything went to the battery, and it needed to go on and off with the ignition switch. You used an A relay off of the fuse panel that went on and off with the car. But I'm talking higher current. But yep, I put everything to the battery, and probably use an A relay if I wanted to go on and off. Hey, suggestions for you, Clayton. Thanks for your question. And I see you've only been in here once before on the TechNet, but is there something on the TechNet that we could incorporate that you would like to see on some updates on the TechNet?
No, I don't think so. You guys seem to do a pretty good job the few times that I have been actually able to listen in. So I do appreciate it. Thank you, and also for all of the wisdom that you guys have given me.
Are you coming in through ArcRate? Are you coming in through 6.7?
I'm not at my house at the moment. I'm coming in through one that's closer to my job in Lackawanna.
Going into that one side of the hub then. Okay. I can't tell from here. There's a bunch of repeaters that feed into that hub. That's great. Thank you. Thanks, Ross. And moving. All right, who else do we have? It's getting late here. We'll make it one more question. 24 past the hour. One last question. Well, I guess timing was good. Thanks, everybody. We had a lot of nice questions tonight. It's good to see it. I have to count them up, but an hour and 20 minutes anyway, or 15 minutes of good questions. Let me see if Kevin, VE3BZ, has anything for us tonight. I'm sorry, Kevin, I forgot to get you up with the team members. If you're there, maybe you should have called in. I don't know, but do you have anything for us tonight, Kevin, from the Swap and Shop?
Hey, good evening, Dick, and everyone. This is Kevin, V3BZ. Actually, I do not have anything for the swap and shop. I got to text you. My bad. But if anyone has anything that they're trying to sell or looking for any item, just email me at ve3bz@rogers.com, or you can go to eastcoastreflector.com and click on Contact DCR and SwapNet submission, and do it that way. And tonight's question, I can't think of anything to change on the TechNet yet. Excuse me. Anyway, before I lose my voice, back to you, Dick, VE3BZ.
Kevin, thanks for the track of that train wreck on the Swap and Shop. Certainly appreciate it. Great, well, that'll do it for this portion. I'm going to turn it over to Roger, KO4QMM. He's going to take 10 radio check-ins, or 10 check-ins on the radio. Then I'll be back and I'll take 10 text. Say that real fast. 10 text check-ins. No trouble with that. And then we'll alternate back and forth like that. Make it kind of fair to everybody. Text, radio, or we'll start with radio, text, and go on down through there until we run out of text, and then either he or I will just, take radio check-in. So over to you, Roger. I'll be back in a minute. I'm going up for a fresh, cold bottle of water. I'll be back in a minute. KO4QMM, WB2JPQ.
Yeah, head up there to the cafeteria and get yourself some water. You did a good job. Thanks, Vicky, for vlogging tonight. Hi, this is KO4QMM, Roger in Central Florida. I'll be your net controller for the next 10 radio check-ins. And while we're doing that, if you want to text in, 716-317-9050. Again, 716-317-9050. You can text in while we're taking radio checks. And if you'd like to check out the log sheet, you can go to East Coast Reflector, go to the menu, go to the net, and find the TechNet, and you'll find us. There's also a Zoom room button if you'd like to join in there. So, if you want to tonight, answer the question of the evening. Are there any features that you would like to incorporate into the TechNet update? And if not, just tell us your weather and, have a good evening. Call sign twice and slow if you'd like to check in. Number 9, Kilo, Indio, 1, Y89, KW.
KO4CLD, KO4CLD.
Director 3 Whiskey, Charlie Whiskey Wow. November 1, Whiskey Echo Bravo.
This is 9Y4DX. 9 Yahtzee 4 Delta X.
All right, from the bottom up, you got a nice little group there. 9Y4DX Bertrand from Trinidad, Tobago. BE3WCW Mobile Dan, Canada. N1WEB, my buddy Webb, Calderville, Tennessee.
KO4CLD, Micah, via Alabama. N9KIW, Tip, PA. N1YKC, Johnny, Outskill, Kentucky. And was there anybody we missed there?
Echo 3, Echo Golf November. Echo 3, Echo Golf November. 10, Echo Ontario, Canada, and then physical damage. Yes. All screen footage. I've got the control.
KE2EHI, Kilo, Echo, Hotel, the mobile in and out this week.
Kilo November 6th, Golf, Sierra Golf. Kilo November 6th, Golf, Sierra Golf. Whiskey November 7th, Sierra Alpha. Whiskey November 7th, Sierra Alpha.
All right. We got James in Hockley, Texas, WN5BSA. We got KN6, Berrymont Beach, California. Via In and Out, KE2EHI, Joe, Westville, New York. Thanks for joining us. DE3TGN, In and Out, Tim, Windsor, Canada. Thanks for joining us this evening. And let's go to the top of this list. Johnny in Kentucky, N1YKT. Are there any features that you would like to incorporate into the TechNet update? Good evening, Johnny.
Good evening, Roger, and everyone else. I don't have anything really. Weather over here is 62 degrees and falling, upwind. Thank you for cutting girls, and for now, N1YKT.
Thanks, Johnny. Sounding good, and good to have you in the Zoom room there. Appreciate it. Have a good evening. Let's move on to Tip from Upper Darby, PA. N9KIW. Good evening, Tip. How's your evening?
Well, good evening. It's going pretty well. We're glad the rain stopped, and it's about 60 degrees here. Been running the heat a little bit, been kind of cooling down, but I don't have any suggestions for the net. It's actually been quite a long time since I've turned on the TechNet, and I just thought of it. I said, oh, yeah, there's a TechNet going on the East Coast Reflector. So keep doing what you're doing. Always a great learning experience. Yeah, always learn from others. So anyway, everybody have a great evening. And back to net from November 9, Kilo India Whiskey.
You have a good evening too, Tip. And yeah, I always enjoy hearing they're all around different states and even different cities. Our weather can be different from Miami to Orlando here in Florida. And it's always something good to talk about here. Thanks for joining us. Micah, KO4CLD. Good evening, Micah. And is there anything you would change in update to the TechNet?
KO4CLD. No, Roger, I cannot think of anything. I think the best things that got updated was getting rid of the call district and just letting people check in like they do on the morning brew. But I like how y'all even do 10 radio and 10 check-in. That's kind of the way it seems like it happens in the morning brew. So I think it's really good. Yeah, I really did scratch my head here for the last hour trying to think of anything y'all can change, but y'all do such a good job. KO4CLD, back to you, Roger.
Well, thanks, Micah. And I think that's what Dick was looking for, a little bit of input there. And I don't think you gave us your weather, but I'll let you slide this time. Let's move on to Webb, Collierville, Tennessee, N1 WEB. Good evening, Webb. Are any features that you'd like to incorporate in the TechNet update? Over.
Thank you, Roger, and good evening to the net. I cannot think of anything I can right now. I've been away for 2 weeks and traveling, and just getting back on the radio is good for me. So it's a little bit overwhelming. So I can't think of any changes right now. But I tell you, 70 degrees and clear in Collierville, Tennessee, and we just got back from a 2-week trip up to Pennsylvania, and chasing around a 4-year-old grandson. He really, I got him into radio a little bit, though. I had some GRMS walkie-talkies, and he enjoyed that. He even says over at the end of his transmission. I don't know where he picked that up from. Anyway, looking forward to the 20-meter net on Thursday. And one, WEB, back to the net.
Oh, that's pretty funny right there, Webb. I can see that. Getting lots of exercise. Thanks for joining us. Have a great evening. Let's move on to mobile. Sorry, I should have came right to you, mobile. I forget that they do that, Dan. So you can put that on me. Go to Dan, VE3WCW. Good evening.
Good evening, Roger, and all on frequency. Yeah, no problem there. It happens. I don't mind hanging out and going along. Still got a good copy on everybody, and hopefully you're picking me up well. Yeah, just headed back from a club meeting in Toronto, Ontario, and was rolling back, came across and forgot the Tech Night was on. I'm not on here very often, so to answer your question, I would have to say just keep doing what you're doing. I have not been a part of it long enough to make any good suggestions. So enjoying listening along. I appreciate you picking me up. And temperature here is well, I guess in Fahrenheit here it's about 55 degrees and dropping, getting a little cooler here as we're rolling into the winter months. But that's all I've got. Appreciate doing the net and running it. So I'll put it back to you, Roger. Free it all. VE3 WCW Mobile.
Well, thanks, Dan. And yeah, you sound good mobile there. Have a good, safe trip. And yeah, 69 degrees and clear here. But the air conditioner, because I'm sure that roof is still hot from the sun. Still a little bit warm afternoon, but it's beautiful here in Florida. We like this time. Thanks, Dan. Let's move on to my buddy Bertrand. This is KO42MM, Roger in Central Florida. 9Y4DX. Good evening, Bertrand.
Well, a pleasant evening to you, Net Control, Roger. It is 9Y4DX, Wilson, and my location similar to Beirut in the Caribbean. Well, let me say this evening, a pleasant evening, a pleasant time to all on the net. Hope everyone is doing well. Well, I being in Trinidad and Tobago, my location, I will not have any big issues. All I am saying is that the net is running okay, and I'll continue to enjoy myself here on the East Coast Reflector. The temperature here in Trinidad and Tobago at this time, 81 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going down to a temperature of around 77 degrees a little later on. Well, that's it from me. Back to you, Net Control, Roger. KO4QMF, which is 9Y4 here.
Well, Bertrand, we can always count on you for checking in. And at least you're getting that 77 degrees there in the morning. We're getting like about 63 in the morning, and it feels really nice. 2 point went way down. Thanks again, my friend. And let's move down to Barry, Moss Beach, California. KN6 TSG. Good evening, Barry. Are there any features that you would like to incorporate into the TechNet update? Over.
Good evening, Roger, and the rest of the net. It's KN6PSP, where it is 56 degrees and the sun is going down. So fall is among us. It's coming and it's here. The only feature that I like was I liked the way it was before with the call district. Because then I knew when I was up, and I knew where all the other people were in different parts of the country for the most part. Otherwise, it's just fine. I don't think you have to change it back just for me. So anyway, that's it. Thank you for letting me check in. Thanks for being here. This is Barry, KN6PSP. Back to the net.
Thank you, Barry. There's a reason why people like California weather. I've been out there a few times myself. It's beautiful. Let's move to James, Hockley, Texas. WN5 BSA. Good evening, James. James from Hockley, Texas. WN5 BSA. There, my friend. Yeah, you might be trying, but we're not getting anything. Maybe you can come back in a little bit. Try with Dick on the text line or something. That's it for me on the radio check-ins. Looks like Dick's back from the concession stand, ready to go. This is KO4QMM handing it over to WBJP2. There, you'll be back in just a minute. Good evening again. This is Dick, WBJP2. Going to Joel in Buffalo, New York, WA2UUS. Hi, Joel.
That, as to the question tonight, I thought about it long, and how do you improve on excellence? I have only just one suggestion, though, and it goes back to when I returned to ham radio and what I learned for you, Dick, and the East Coast Reflector was that there was something new that I could not believe existed, and I think that if every month, 15 minutes or so, for especially new hams to learn about new equipment, new development, and it brings a lot more thought to what's happening. And I can't add anything more. And I wish everyone right. Thanks, Dick, and thanks, Vicki.
I like that answer, Joel. Good evening to you. We've actually talked about that, and this goes to anybody. If there's somebody out there that would like to do a presentation on a new HT for 7, 8, 10 minutes at the head of every net, we'd love to have you. Hey, we got the new ABC HT here. I like it. I tested the power. It does indeed do 5 watts or something like that. Just something a little bit different. Let us know. We're looking. Any kind of a presenter, no matter what, just a few minutes at the top of the net, kind of break the ice, get people thinking. And we have talked about it, and we'd like to do something like that. Yep, and critical is good. We need to know the positive and the negative. So don't think you're going to hurt our feelings. Like somebody said, taking away the call district. Yeah, we've had some people that don't like it, but the majority seems to are okay with it. The net does roll faster this way, but whoever said that, I guess that was Barry. He's got a very valid point. So, Casey, 60 with them.
Good evening again, Dick, and everyone on the TechNet. This is Charles, KC62FM, and thanks to Vicky for logging, and you and Roger for herding cats tonight, Dick. As far as the question is concerned, it has not been, from my point of view anyway, a problem lately. But there have been a few tech nets in the past where it was almost felt like we were rushing through the questions in order to get to the check-in, and I'd like to see a little more time devoted to the questions. Again, that not seem to be the situation here recently, say in the last 4, 5, 6 months, something like that. But it has happened in the past, and I'm sure everyone is aware of that. It has, but I'd like to see more time for questions. But otherwise, here in beautiful, sunny downtown Guatai, it's been very, very overcast, drizzling rain, and our high today was 46 degrees. Right now, it's setting at 39 degrees outside, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think I saw earlier a few snowflakes. So, here we're having a little bit of snow in October in Southern California. What can you do with that? But in any event, nothing else happening here. So I'll turn it back over to you, Dick. We did have a lot of good questions tonight, and that was very welcome. So everyone have a great week. Stay safe. 7-3. Back to you, Dick. Cape 6 UFM.
Charles, we didn't leave you with the impression we were trying to rush you. You said that tonight, but in months back, I mean, that is the meat and potatoes of the net, is our questions. And, we have been going here for over 12 years, and when we started out, it was just questions. However long that lasted, 45 minutes, an hour, I don't know, when we first started. And then somebody said, hey, let's get an old check-in. So that's how that got started, and we just kept it going. Roy, New York, KAABYU. Hi, Roy.
BYU. I got to agree with the previous comment. There's not too much you can do with improve on that. I've been participating with this. It's been absolutely great, and you guys are always coming up with extra new little things to improve it. So keep doing what you're doing, guys. It's great. Thank you.
And again, one of the suggestions was to have a field to send in TechNet questions. I think that's a good idea. We'll put that on our list, and we'll add that on the website here in the future. But I tell you, after doing this for 12 years, it's tough to come up with questions. Not that we can't duplicate them, that's for sure. But you need a general question that everybody can answer. We have all classes of licenses here, and I mean, some people are big on HF. Other people might only have entry level HT. Maybe they just got their license. So that's our biggest thing. They have a question that everybody can answer. Because if you have a question that everybody can answer, you'll have a lot more participation. Found that over there. My friend Jim in Eastern Pennsylvania, K38TQ. Hi, Jim.
Good evening, Dick, Vicky, and TechNet. I have nothing to add. I kind of enjoyed when we did away with the call districts. I know that some people would like to have them back, but it was getting late in the evening for me sometimes when we were at the end. But other than that, I think everything's running great. Back to net control, KD3 ATQ.
Another one. Vicky for call districts. Yep. We did do away with it, Jim. I guess if there's enough people that are bothered by it, certainly consider anything here. Bobby, Amherst, New York, AD2 IZ.
Oh, I was good. I was good. So I'm going to get my turn and be in and out. So this is 82 IZ.
Well, thanks for earlier. Les, how you doing, my friend? Claremont, Florida, KK4SED.
And it, seen a lot of changes over the years, and I like the question. I like the question. I like the format. So hope it doesn't change. And it looks like everybody's going the same way. Good talking to you, Dick. KK4 SED back to.
Thank you, Les, and you've been a rock here for many, 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 many years. You and Gene, and you well know. Think of Gene often. I miss him. I certainly do. But thank you, Les, for being such a supporter of this net. Let's go to Chris in Parish, Florida, KQ4TLY. What about you, Chris? Is there been your 69 previous times? Is there anything that you would like to see changed on the TechNet if we do any updates?
Everyone on the net. I like the suggestion of being able to text in your question. I think that would be a good addition to the net, and I like the new format. Back to you, KQ4 GLY.
I think we can. Well, now you're saying text in the question. I don't think we're talking about a text line for the question. I think it'll be a it'll be an email, but all one and the same. I think we'll get into texting for questions. But good idea, good thought. Lost my train of thought. I was going to say something else. Yeah, we'll add that. And again, there's two lines of thinking here. One, and maybe I threw everybody off. We're talking about TechNet general questions, like do you have a SW library? That's a general question that we'd ask everybody. Plus, earlier tonight, it was brought up that maybe text in the technical question. So I guess there's two lines of thinking here, but we'll consider them both. That was Chris and Paris. Let's go to Mike, Valley Springs, California, K6AAM.
Well, good evening, Dick, and everybody on the East Coast net. I have no suggestions, and I've given it a lot of thought here this evening, too. I like the way it runs. I don't miss the call district too much. This works fine, especially because there's multiple ways to get checked into this net. I use the text line all the time, as much as I can. Stay away from pileups. But, no, you guys are doing a great job. It's the best that's out there. And I keep coming back because I like the questions. I learn stuff by listening to all these questions and answers. And it sure beats reading this stuff out of a book and trying to stay awake while you do it. Anyway, keep up the good work, guys. We really appreciate it. This is K6AAM. Back to you, Dick.
You're a big supporter, too. We don't get near the amount of text check-in. Of course, we don't do text. Like this morning, I think we had 140 some check-ins this morning on the morning drill. Some mornings we can run 65 text check-ins, which really speeds things up in the morning. Tim, Windsor, Ontario. I guess I think Tim was in and out, but let me make sure. Yes, Tim, I know you said earlier you were in and out, but are you back with us?
Just say hello to everybody. Enjoying I listen to what's going on, and that, and definitely, it's nice that they have, give all the different ways to hook up the ham radio, and that's, really good, you learn a lot by listening, and that's it. So, thank you, let me check in, and, definitely you, have a good evening, and hello to Vicky too, who's logged with that. And I do check in the blue net. I like that net. I definitely like the net. Back to you there. It's a VE3 TGN portable in 0 Canada, black connection from 73 12.
The admission controllers certainly look forward to you, Deb, every morning. I know, and for a lot of people, the morning brew is their morning, and we do try to put a smile on everybody's faces sometimes with their ridiculous questions, but that's what it's all about, is to get people thinking. We don't do any amateur radio related questions on the morning brew. They're all questions to get people thinking. And I have to think of questions for tomorrow morning. I have the open at 7, so I got to do some thinking here tonight myself. Last for me for a while here is Bob, KD2JPP. Bob?
Hi, good evening, Dick, Vicky, and everybody else. As to the question, Dick, I can't think of anything to improve on the net at the moment. I really can't. You guys have a great team behind the scenes there, everything running. So, and I also like the way you're doing the check-in. I didn't think it was going to be done this way, but it's working great. The 10 text and 10 radio, etc. So it's working great. Anyway, hope everybody stays safe. Has a great week. Back to net control.
Yeah, Bob, it's something that we're trying. And I don't know, Roger tried it. Roger did the open today in the brew, and he did it with the same format. We're trying to be fair to everybody. When you get in the morning brew, and I'll admit it, when you can run 30, 35 minutes before you get a radio check-in, I feel bad for the people on the radio, and I think it's time that we fix that and maybe fix it. But I know if I was out there waiting to check in on a mobile, I don't know if I'd wait 35 minutes or not, but uh, one way or the other, we're trying to equal the playing field for everybody. And I mean, the text, like it's been mentioned numerous times, it's saved, especially on the morning brew. We have 60 some check-ins in the morning. It just saves time. We would no way would we be ever to get 140, 50 check-ins in 2 hours if we didn't have a text line. Over to you, Roger. This is WB2JPQ.
Thanks, Dick. This is KO4QMM. I'll be your net controller for the next radio check-in. And, man, I had something there I was going to say, but I guess we could get on with it. Anywhere, come with your call sign, twice as slow.
Kilo 2, Charlie Mike Tango. Kilo 2, Charlie Mike Tango.
Iowa
5 Hotel, Big 5 Radio.
W2,
W2,
RBC,
Whiskey 9, Echo Bravo Bravo. Whiskey 9, Echo Bravo Bravo.
Kilowatt 5, Hotel Lima Hotel, K5H. 82 VNU, 82 VNU.
Do I?
All right, start from the bottom. N6UDY, Dave, Sacramento, California. KD2BNU, Derby Dan, New York. W2KJV, Tony, Homosassa, Florida. W2RBC, Randy, West Seneca, New York. K2CMC, Mike, DeBerry, Florida. If we missed you, come on back. And if there's any in and out, you can join in there too. Over. In and out. Thank you. All right, I figured there's at least one in and out waiting. And we got Mitchell, Belden, New York, AE2CCC. Thanks for joining us, Michael. Mitchell. Let's move on to the top there. K2CMT, Mike DeBerry, Florida. Are there any features that you would like to incorporate into the TechNet update, Mike? Over.
I'm not going to add anything to the file. I mean, like everyone else, I'm going to say it's real good the way it is. Leave it alone. This is Mike, Kilo 2 Charlie Mike Tango in DeBerry, Florida. Back to CQ.
All right, Mike. Thanks for getting in there this evening, and we always appreciate that. W2RBC, my buddy Randy, helped out with the 20 meeting net, West Seneca, New York. Let's see what you think, my friend.
Good evening, Roger, Vicky, and everyone on the TechNet. I really like this net, but since it's a technical net, I'd really like to hear more technical discussion and less time allocated to general user check-in. Back to net control, W3 to all, W2, RBC.
Yeah, that's true, Randy. That's why I didn't know whether I wanted to say, about, give us a weather report, just say hello, but that don't take much time. You can always still do that. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate your answer. Let's move on to Tony, Homosassa, Florida, W2KJV. Good evening, Tony.
Good evening, Roger, and everyone on the TechNet tonight. I agree with Mike on K2CMT. I think it's perfect the way it is now. It's running great. Hope everyone has a great night and a better tomorrow. W2KJV, back to you, Ron.
Be careful following that guy around. Wink, wink. Have a good evening. Thanks for joining us. Let's move on to Derby Dan, Derby, New York. Hey, DNU. How you doing tonight, Derby Dan?
Good evening, Roger. I'm doing okay. And I have to agree on Randy. The technical questions submitted are the meat and potatoes. And they're always looking for questions of the net. So people have, any net have questions, submit them. You guys are always running short on those, and there's been a lot of good ones lately. So that's all I have for input. Everything's been great. 82 you.
Good words of wisdom, Dan. Thanks for joining us. Let's move on to David, Sacramento, California, N6UDY. Good evening, David.
Hello, Roger, Dick, Vicky, everybody in the Zoom control room, and everybody on the net. N6UDY. I'm back and forth here. So I like the email, the question idea. But then again, I'm relatively new.
So, I like it the way it is too. So I'll just say right now, I like the email question. So anyways, hey, thanks for doing what you do. Back to net control and UDY.
Thanks, David. You have a wonderful evening there in California. And this is KO42MM in Central Florida. Let's move on to we had in and out KCCC. Mitchell, have a great evening. I'm going to go ahead and take the text lines. And if anybody would else like to text in, get in that line. There's only like 6 of them there. You're welcome to. So let's go ahead and lot them up. W9EBB, Don, Ocala, Florida. W4PPX, Don, Hollywood, Florida. BK4BNT, Brent. AI5PMI, Bill, Hobbs, New Mexico, and K58LH, all via text line. Harry, Grant, New Mexico. Good evening, Harry. And are there any features that you would like to incorporate into the TechNet update? Over.
Good evening to everyone on the net. I want to apologize. One of our repeaters got hung up earlier. We got knocked off the net, but we got back on another all-star node for KE5FYL. I like the net the way it is. It's always a little bit long, but when you have this many people across the country, you got to expect that. But also like the idea of asking the questions on the text message or email. That might make it go a little bit faster. We have some older folks who can't quite stay up this late, but other than that, we do enjoy the net. K5H2H, back to net.
Yep, more good words of wisdom there. I'm sure we appreciate hearing it. And let's move on to where am I at? Bill, Hobbs, New Mexico, KI5PMI. Good evening, Bill.
Good evening, Roger. Yeah, I really can't add anything. I really enjoy it. Done a great job. Keep it up. Maybe it's a little bit more tech. I love the tech questions. Working on it. Most part, I can't think of really that I would say. Hope everybody has a great time. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us this evening, Bill. And yeah, getting rid of the call district, I think that helped, people that didn't want to stay up late. They could text in or call in. Really, your choice to get in there early or what time you really want to get in there. So I think it helps out for that. Have a great evening, Bill. Let's move on to Brent, Australia. BK4BNT. How about it, Brent?
Yeah, this is BK4BNT. Yeah, look, this is only my second time on the net, so I don't really have any feedback or comments on what you can add. But I certainly do very much enjoy what you've set up as far as the logging goes, and this is a similar structure to another net that I attend, and yeah, I definitely enjoy tap topics. As a new ham, it is to learn from the collective. But no additional feedback there. Just thanks for calling me in. But I'll hand it back to you. VK4BNT listening.
Awesome, Brent. I had to get up and look out my window, see if you were in the driveway there. Great audio from Australia. Thanks for joining us. Let's move on to Don, Hollywood, Florida. W4PPX. Good evening, Don. Anything you'd like to change to TechNet?
Or PPX. Don, Hollywood. No, if it ain't broke, I wouldn't fix it. Everything seems to be doing just fine. I do agree with some of the people on using the call sign to the district. sometimes it would get where you'd be up till tail end of the whole thing just to get your thing in. I kind of like it better the way it is when you just fall in. There's no going by the district you're in. All right, 7-3. Hope everybody has a good evening. W450X. Thanks for doing the net.
Thank you, Don, for joining us this evening. And last on my list here is W9ET Don Ocala, Florida. Good evening, Don.
Good evening there, Roger, and good evening, Vicky. Great job running the net. I tell you, I've learned a lot on this, especially this tech net. And if we remember what the net is actually called, it's called a tech net. And everybody here is very present. And there's times I listen and I never check in, simply because I'm there to learn. So I do agree with Randy on that aspect. The W2 RSDC said more text, less check-in, maybe. Because as a new ham, I got my license in February. I do come here to learn. And I come here to also communicate with you all, like I'm doing now. But only when necessary. Uh, that's my two cents. Hopefully it won't get defended. But otherwise, everything is wonderful. You guys do a great job. In fact, it inspired me so much that I actually started running that myself. So I did my second one today. Anyway, this is W9EEB, 73 to everybody stay blessed. Amen.
Awesome, Don. Hope you have good luck with it, and have a great night. Thanks for joining. All right, that's the end of that list. Now it's open to anybody that missed and wants to be in and out, mobile, whatever. Come with your call sign. White and slow, get in tonight's log.
This is Kilo Golf 5, Victor Lima Lima, Kilo Golf 5, Victor Lima Lima, Kirk in Nederland, Texas.
Kilo Echo 8, Uniform Juliet Echo. Kilo Echo 8, Uniform Juliet Echo. All in Newport, Michigan. In and out signing. Thank you.
This is Whiskey Delta.
This is Ray Romeo Golf, stroke Victor Edward 3. Again, NOXRG, stroke B3. Got Ron calling from St. John's, Newfoundland.
Whiskey Delta 8, Papa India Charlie, WD8PIC.
Victor Whiskey 3. Hotel Echo Hotel.
Whiskey Alpha 5
from
Tango,
Ontario.
Bravo.
Kilo Golf 5, Fox Fox. Kilo Golf 5 with Fox Fox. Live Houston, currently in the Range, Texas, in and out. All right, nice little late missed list there. Let's start at the bottom. KN0LZG Todd, Alabama. WJR Michael, Tucson, Arizona. KG5SS Carlos, Houston, Texas. WA5TT3, Texas. BA3H Robin, Canada. NOXRG Ronald, Baytown, Texas. Those two could be questionable. So we'll be back and have to make sure they're all right. And we got Bob, Savino, Ohio, WDACID, via In and Out, KEA. Paul, Newport, Michigan. Thanks for joining us tonight, Paul. Have a great night. KG5DLL, Kirkland, Nederland, Texas. All right, we missed you. Come on.
KJ5 MLZ. KJ5 MLZ. In and out.
All right, Ezra, we got you from Louisiana. KJ5MLZ. Let's go to the top of the list here. Kirkland in Texas. KG5DLL. Are there any features that you would like to incorporate to the TechNet update? Over. KG5DLL, you there? Well, we got you in the logbook. You might have had to get the pizza at work. And the In and Out, thing. Oh, and then we got Bob, Sylvania, Ohio, WDHCIC. Good evening, Bob.
Good evening. And no, I don't have any features that I'd like to add. Everybody have a great evening, and enjoy another nice day tomorrow. And I hope the people along the East Coast did not get affected too much by the nor'easter. And then the people out in Arizona and other places that are getting the remnants of that storm. Anyway, back to net control, WD8PIC.
I was waiting for you to say what your weather was, but you were all around it. Have a good evening, Bob. Thanks for joining us. And I think we got this one right. M0XRG, Ronald, Baytown, Texas. USL?
Yeah, you got the call sign right, but I'm operating remotely in Newfoundland or St. John's, Newfoundland, Canada. So adding a stroke V3 to the call sign. Yeah, you can on by way of Baytown being the All-Star node. Good to call in. I don't have a suggestion. I do enjoy listening. I always learn a lot, and I appreciate what you guys do. And this is NOXRG stroke V3. Back to you, Ned.
Well, we got you, sir. Thanks for joining us, and check out EastCoastReflector.com. See what we're all about. If you're new, I'm not sure. New. Now let's go on to another one here in Canada. VA3H. Good evening, Robin.
Good evening, Net Control. I admittedly, I just got in my van, finished up my bowling and my Tuesday night league, and I turned the radio on and I started scanning our local repeaters, and I heard this net, and I've never heard it before, typically because I'm bowling. So I just wanted to do a call out there just to get my name on the list. I have no idea what the net is going, but it's kind of fun to be added to a list that is apparently from all over the place. So yeah, I don't know the content, and I have just arrived at my destination. So I'm going to bid you a fond 7-3 and a thank you for calling out to me and letting me know that I'm being heard. So this is Victor Alpha 3 Hotel Echo Hotel. Robin from Canada, back to Net Control 7-3.
Well, thank you, Robin, for picking up the PPT there and answering in. Yeah, this is the East Coast Reflector TechNet. And you can check out eastcoastreflector.com. But since you're driving, I think that you just got home. But anyhow, if your email is good on QR, we'll send you a welcome letter. No membership needed or nothing. Just a lot of fun, a lot of different ham radio net. So thanks for joining us. Let's move on to Reed, Lubbock, Texas, WA5TDD. And this is Roger, KO4QMM in Central Florida. How about it, Reed?
Well, KO42MM, WA5TDB, Lubbock. Weather here. And, we'll have 4 days of good weather before it happens, or I guess. The Texas could be anything. Suggestions might be that so many times the same questions get asked, and people would like to add additional detail to the answer. What if there were a Ham Radio 101 website that's a subpage of the Reflector? So if someone asked about a bazooka and you can say, well, go over to ECR, the Ham Radio 101, and look up antennas, and then you'll find something about bazookas. There could be a directory of some really good articles, videos, anything like that that could fan out from that. Does any of that make any sense?
QSL, thanks for joining us this evening, and we got your answer, my friend. And let's move on to where am I at? Carlos was in and out, KC5SSD, and let's move on to W7WJR, Michael, Tucson, Arizona. Good evening, Michael.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, so this is only my second time on the net, but so far I enjoyed it thoroughly. So I have no suggestions. So far, I'm loving every minute of days of massive rain. A lot. And now enjoying nice 65-degree cool weather outside the backyard. But back to my control. This is W7 WJR.
Yes, sir. I know about that Arizona rain. My sister lives in Gilbert, and that they've been getting some good rain, and I know you guys need it. That's for sure. So enjoy that cool weather, my friend. Thanks for joining us this evening. Let's move on to Todd, Redstone, Alabama, KN0LDE. Are there any features that you would like to incorporate into the TechNet update?
This is LDE, Redstone module. Additional features. I really can't think of any. I've been shopping around for radios, HTs, and antennas, and most what I can find is available through forums or some things. So I'm pretty content. I just like listening to the sort of the live voices of the guys out there, what their thoughts are, and that keeps me pretty well informed and entertained. KN0LD.
Thanks for joining us this evening, Todd. And last on the list, Ezra. From, boy, I want to say LA. From Louisiana, KJ5MLV. Good evening, Ezra. Ezra, my friend, you there? KJ5MLV. Just a couple. Nothing there. All right, that's the end of the list there. This is the last call for general check-in. Last call. Anybody, anywhere.
AB3, BPK. AB3, BPK. Delta Victory 6WXL.
Real Lima, Whiskey 2, Real Lima.
KO4CLD, KO4CLD.
KO4, FRR, KO4, FRR.
All right, there's my buddy Joe waiting for the last minute. KO4FRR, Joe, Sarasota, Florida. There's my buddy Micah. We got to stop meeting like this. Micah, KO4CLD. We got Sal, Chicago, New York, W2SAL. We got DV6, WXL. We got that right from the Philippines. And KB3 and DK, Mary, Cynthia. We're going to go to you, Mary. Are there any features that you would like to incorporate into the TechNet update? Over.
Yes, yes. KB3, DPK, MPA, as he said. I think one. But I'm thinking like a propagation report, like a weekly report on, how propagation's doing. It's on spots, but and what bands are open and stuff like that, like at the top of the net or something, some kind of propagation report. And back to you, KB3, VPK. Everybody have a good night.
I thought of that same thing, but then I was wondering who would do it. But that's a very good idea because I like it. Very good idea, Mary. Thanks for joining us this evening. Let's move on to DV6WXL. Not really going to be good at that name from the Philippines.
Good morning from the Philippines. Good evening there, Control. This is the station of the Delta Victory WXL from the Philippines. My name is Japet. Juliet Alpha Papa Echo Papa Hotel Echo Tango from the Philippines. With no traffic, 7 to 3 to you and mabuhay.
Thank you, Jeff. It looks, sounds just like it looks, so that'll be pretty easy next time. Thanks for joining us. We'll be looking for you on the other net. Let's move on to my buddy, Sawaga, New York, W2SAL. Good evening, Sal.
Good evening, sir. And the other two buddies that travel behind me, especially that guy down in Toronto named Joe. I thought I was going to be the last man in, but I had two slide in behind me. So as far as the net goes, I really don't have much for this. I like what you guys do. Maybe at the top of the net, you could put in the actual call sign and name of the person that's being net control. Because I only catch a couple of the initials on my side. I don't know if that's feasible or not. I know you guys put a lot of work into that data sheet. So if not, we just wing it. With that, I'll send it back to net control. W2SAL. Everyone have a great evening tonight.
Always enjoy your input, Sal. Thanks for joining us. And this is Roger in Central Florida, KO4QMM. Let's move on to my buddy Micah, KO4CLD. Go ahead, Micah.
Thank you, Roger. I was gonna give a report. It's wonderful and sunny and no clouds, and it's like 65 degrees. But I did scratch my head long enough. Me and ChatGPT, not all the credit here. Um, and one thing that popped up would be show and tell. It would be something where you learn something or you got a new gadget that you're happy about, um, or it could be something as simple as you figured out how to turn the automatic gain control off on an ICOM HF rig. That took me a minute to figure out how to do that. But just something that engages the rest of, or engages people where they have an opportunity just to say, I learned this week about ham radio, and keep it simple. But that's the only thing me and ChatGPT could come up with. But back to you, Roger. KO4CLD.
Well, not bad. I guess that was worth coming back for. You have a good night, Micah, and thanks for joining us. On the list, KO4 Joe from Sorrento. He's trying to be in and out, but I don't know if I'm gonna accept that. Come on, Joe.
This is Joe KO4FRR. I was trying to be quick. Be the last one of the working behind the scenes. But to answer the question, for the weather report, starting to get cold, and I'm enjoying it, not the hot sticky stuff. But to answer the question, the no call district thing, because I have to wait for your call district to protect them. This is Joe KL4FRR. Back to you, Roger.
Could be cold, could be hot, could rain or not. Right? Is that what you're trying to say? Thanks, Joe, for joining us this evening. Thanks, everybody. We appreciate all your answers. I had a good time tonight. Thanks, Vicky, for keeping me straightened out there. KEHKY. Thanks, Big WB2KP2. And all you out there, this was net number 643. Everybody have a great evening. This is KO2MM. This frequency is back to normal amateur use. 7-3.